Hello everyone, today we are going to discuss hepatitis. In that we will discuss hepatitis C, D and E. As you may be knowing that during last hour or last video we had a discussion on hepatitis A and hepatitis B. Today we will continue with the same topic with other types of hepatitis. As it is known that hepatitis, a kind of inflammatory condition which involves the inflammation of liver due to the certain kinds of viral infection. Here the viruses can be categorized into A, B, C, D, E. In that, while coming to the hepatitis C, basically it is an RNA virus with the average diameter of 30 to 60 nanometer in size. Its incubation period will be most probably between 14 to 180 days. On an average, we can consider that one will have symptoms on an interval of 56 days after its first exposure to the virus, and in most all cases it will get transported or transmitted through the blood and through the blood contaminated products, like we can consider the needles that can be used in cases of drug addiction, and it is rarely transmitted through the sexual contact, and it can generate both the conditions like acute infection and the chronic illnesses. While coming to the chronic hepatitis C virus infection, generally it accompanies with liver cirrhosis, and one more major drawback with hepatitis C virus, that is, at present we do not have any vaccine for hepatitis C virus. In case of hepatitis A virus and hepatitis B virus, we have specific cases, or we have a specific antidote for the same viruses, or for the we can say like we have already developed certain techniques that can retard the hepatitis A virus infection and the hepatitis B virus, so that vaccines are available for A and B but not for C. While coming to the diagnosis, in that case also again it's just like A and B, we can go ahead to check with the presence of hepatitis C antibody, and further analysis can be performed with the genotyping test. While coming to the management, we can, or one can go ahead with the interferons, and in this case the treatment will be for most probably 12 to 24 weeks of the infection, and it can reduce the development of chronic hepatitis C. In other cases, or other than the pegylated interferons, we can go ahead with the ribavirin, Rebatol, certain protease inhibitors like Incivec and the Boceprevir. See, these medicines are already in use in cases of viral infection, or we can say that like in cases of viruses like or in certain cases like AIDS, right? In this already this or these specific drugs are used into it. Next is the infection of hepatitis D virus, or we can call it as delta virus. See, it is not an independent virus. Previous one, that is hepatitis A, B, C, were known to cause or known to produce symptoms, or it can further can cause this infection, but hepatitis D is dependent on hepatitis B virus. It means it requires hepatitis B virus for its further replication, and basically it is single stranded RNA virus. So remember, hepatitis D or the delta virus is not independent one, right? It is dependent on the hepatitis B virus, because on hepatitis B or with the coupling of hepatitis B only, it can further undergo replication. And here the incubation period will be ranging between 2 to 26 weeks. In cases of we can consider that HBV, here it acts as a chronic carrier, right? If person is suffering from HBV, it means it can transmit it to the others, and where exactly it can develop hepatitis C virus. Here the source of infection are same as hepatitis B virus. Here hepatitis D virus or the delta virus is only possible if a person is already infected with the hepatitis B, or a person that can be infected by both virus at the same time. In cases again transmission, we can consider that those needles that can be shared or used to share during the drug addictions or by used by the drug addicts. Next, it can be transmitted to the homosexuals or by the transfusion of blood, and it even shows many symptoms that may be ranging from acute viral hepatitis like anorexia, nausea, vomiting, and the fever. In this case, we can go ahead with the diagnosis like we can go ahead with the anti hepatitis D virus, and we can further check for the presence of hepatitis D virus antigen for further analysis or to the separate out infection. In cases of prevention and management or the treatment, we can go ahead with the interferon. Again, vaccination is possible here, and vaccination for hepatitis B can be done so that hepatitis C virus or hepatitis D virus can be retarded. Here it majorly works with the hepatitis B virus, right? But even it can help in hepatitis D infection. Here certain regular tests even can be performed in individuals with persons who are working in hospitals or the clinics, and they used to regularly be in touch with the handling of the blood and the serum specimen, right? So for that certain techniques can be availed. Next is hepatitis E virus. See, HEV, again a kind of virus which is single stranded RNA virus, and it will be non-enveloped, and their incubation period will be ranging between 15 to 64 days, or we can consider almost 3 to 8 weeks, and it generally spread through the contaminated water supply and due to the poor sanitation techniques, and it is generally found in Asia, Africa, and Mexico. We can say that countries which are underdeveloped or developing countries. It is more severe in or common in adults and severe in pregnant women, and in many cases even hospital treatment or hospitalization may not be required in cases of hepatitis E, where it resolves it on its own within 4 to 6 weeks. And generally in cases of treatment, the major focuses will be on the supportive care and the rehydration, and the rest will be provided, or rest will be advised to the person. See, one more type is there, that is hepatitis G. Again, hepatitis G, actually I have not included here here in PPT. It is basically single stranded RNA virus, and it is get transmitted by the blood transfusion, and it can lead again acute as well as chronic forms of the hepatitis. While coming to the diagnosis of hepatitis E, one can go with anti-hepatitis E virus for their or for the presence of immunoglobulins M and immunoglobulins G. So here antibody or immunoglobulin may have a major role in the detection or the diagnosis of the specific type of hepatitis infection. Here one can go with the certain hepatitis E virus RNA quantification even can be done, where the protein structure will be elucidated and further quantification can be done for the analysis. While coming to the treatment, here as I have suggested earlier, there is no specific treatment, but one can go with the rehydration, rest, and the one can change or go ahead with the change in their diet, or regular diet will be provided, but it is self limiting. So hospitalization is not compulsory. Okay. Next is the pathophysiology of hepatitis. See here, in this case we can further divide it into the stages as well as in general. First I will go with the general pathophysiology. See, in cases of general pathophysiology, one thing, that is acute hepatitis, or during an acute hepatitis, liver damage is mediated by the cytotoxic cytokines and the natural killer cells. In cytokines, we can consider those interleukins and the leukotrienes. Other components other than the cytokines and natural killer cells, there will be a presence of those CK cells, that is the creatinine kinases, which causes the lysis of the hepatocytes, or those normal liver cells, which may get infected during the infection of hepatitis, any kind of virus, which can causes cholestasis. And this cholestasis is a kind of process where the formed bile juices from the liver may not get transmitted uh, in gallbladder or the pancreas for further processing, so that there will be a stasis or the complete stoppage or the cessation of the flow of bile juices. Here, in cases of acute infection or during the acute injury, we can say that liver cells may get regenerated by itself. But in cases of chronic viral infections, it causes chronic inflammation and further causes the fibrosis. So, in cases of fibrosis, as we know that in cases of fibrosis, there will be a formation of, or the gathering of the certain kinds of, what we can say, that there will be a buildup of specific types of the proteins in liver, proteins like collagen, right? It will get deposited into the liver and it causes further fibrosis of the liver. And in that case, we will have a deep or the thorough discussion in cases of liver disorders or the alcoholic liver diseases. Just remember at present that fibrosis, where exactly there will be an accumulation of the proteins in liver like collagen. Here in these cases of chronic, it may over decades or it may be carried up to the decades, and this specific fibrosis condition can cause liver cirrhosis. In this cases, liver cirrhosis, where liver will be get inflamed for a longer duration, and it can further carries scarring and the loss of the function of liver, and liver may become unuseful, or it may not go ahead with the normal routine functioning. In this case of pathophysiology, we can divide into the stages also, like stage 1, 2 and stage 3, next is stage 4 and the 5. So, we can divide into stages also in cases of pathophysiology. Here in case stage 1, that is the carrier stage, in this case patient may not show any kind of symptom, but the person can transmit this virus to the others. So, here the patient or person may act as a transmission carrier or transmitting carrier, and it can infect others. In cases of stage 2, again person will remain asymptomatic, but it can be detected through the examination of blood. In cases of stage 3, which is known as the acute hepatitis stage, where it shows the acute disease or the symptoms can be seen. Again, in that incubation period can be seen, pre-icteric phase can be seen with the low grade fever, anorexia, fatigue, vomiting and the headache. In phase 3 icteric phase, where hepatitis can be seen and the inflammation of liver can be seen with the enlarged liver, weight loss can be seen, bilirubinuria can be seen and the prolonged blood clotting time can be seen in cases of phase 3 icteric phase. In cases of phase 4, that is the post icteric phase, in this phase patient may develop chronic hepatitis, and that is the same stage 4, that is chronic hepatitis, where it involves the hepatomegaly, causes enlargement of liver, easy fatigue and the splenomegaly. In cases of splenomegaly, there will be an inflammation of spleen. Next is 5, that is the fulminant hepatitis. This could be the most serious stage of hepatitis, involving the necrosis of hepatocellular cells, and for that HBV, that is hepatitis B virus, and hepatitis C virus can develop the fulminant hepatitis. So that is all about the pathophysiology of hepatitis. Next, there are certain symptoms are mentioned here. Actually, we have already discussed it, but for acute and chronic point of view, I have divided into the acute and the chronic one, like anorexia. Next is nausea and vomiting, constipation or diarrhea. Next is the upper abdominal discomfort, malaise. Malaise again a kind of condition where person may feel restlessness. Next is the fever, headache. Next is arthralgias. In cases of arthralgia, there will be a pain in muscles, just like myalgia. Next is urticaria, hepatomegaly, that is inflammation of liver, splenomegaly, that is inflammation of spleen, weight loss due to the anorexia. Next is we can consider jaundice. Next is dark urine, light stool, decreased sense of smell or the taste, and the hyperbilirubinuria or hyperbilirubinemia. In cases of chronic hepatitis, malaise can be felt. Next is the easy fatigability can be seen, hepatomegaly, myalgia, that is the pain in muscle can be observed, and spatial skeletal muscles are involved into it, and there will be an elevation of the liver enzymes like AST, ALP, that we have already discussed during the hepatitis as well as in jaundice. Next is the complications. See, while considering the complications, the major complications that are involved in hepatitis, that is the dehydration. So that while going with the management, first thing that should be repleted, that is dehydration, and for this the continuous IV administration of dextrose is required. Hypokalemia. Next is the chronic carrier hepatitis can be seen. Next is cholestatic hepatitis, where there will be complete cessation of passage of bile juices or the bile salts from the liver to the small intestine. Next is the fulminant hepatitis. In cases of fulminant, which involves the massive hepatocellular necrosis and the liver cirrhosis, with inflammation of liver for most probably continue for longer duration of time, and the hepatocellular carcinoma that can be seen, that is the cancer of liver with hepatitis B virus and the hepatitis C virus. Okay, what kinds of preventive measures can be done or taken? In cases of hepatitis A, frequent hand washing is required, proper personal hygienic conditions should be maintained, this environmental sanitation is required, control and screening of food handlers even should be monitored, right? Next is active immunization can be done for the hepatitis A virus infection. While going with the medicines, one can go ahead with those immunoglobulins in cases of early exposure, that is just starting, or we can say that 1 to 2 weeks of the infection, immunoglobulins can be started. And if one is traveling from one place to another, and if it is recommended, then person should go with the vaccination for hepatitis A virus. in cases of certain those persons or those healthcare personals which are or they used to continuous in handling of the blood products or the serums, then they used to have a certain kinds of techniques like frequent have wash hands, they can use gloves, and they can have some sanitary measures to retard the infection with hepatitis A. In cases of hepatitis B and C, again the same, like hand washing, avoid sharing toothbrushes and the razors. Active immunization for hepatitis B virus can be done. HBIG administration again for required while one-time exposure such as needle stick or contact of the mucous material of the already infected person. In cases of sexual transmission, again it is required in cases of hepatitis B virus and C virus, where HBIG will be administered to the sexual partners to the or of the HB surface antigen positive person, and it is recommended or advised to use condoms during the sexual intercourse. Next is the HBV vaccine series administered to the uninfected sexual partners. Certain precautions, that is for transmission, for that test can be done for the antigen and antibody, and then persons should use those disposable needles and the syringes for the transfusion of blood. In cases of healthcare professionals, they should maintain the certain hygienic conditions to retard the infection of hepatitis B and hepatitis C virus. Next is the references. See, while coming to this specific PowerPoint presentation, that is from Nikhil Vaishnav, who is working as a clinical instructor at the Parole Institute of Nursing, Waghodia. So I am thankful to Dr. Nikhil Vaishnav and for this wonderful PPT what he made, and it was very much useful in cases of even pharmacy students. So I have put this specific reference here, right? So thank you Dr. Nikhil Vaishnav for sharing this PPT, and so that it can be useful for the other students too. So while going with the hepatitis, with this we have completed hepatitis entirely, right? Hepatitis A, B, C, D, E and G. Actually hepatitis G I have not mentioned here in this specific PPT. So it is all about hepatitis.